The clueless clowns over at ESPN are at it again. Once more, show the world exactly why nobody takes them seriously. Completely discrediting Aaliyah Boston after her monster performance in Game 4 that forced the series back to Vegas for a win-or-go-home Game 5. It's embarrassing, flat-out embarrassing. We're going to break this down. We're going to laugh at them. We're going to call it for what it is. Because while the Fever went toe-to-toe and took down the Aces to extend the series, the so-called experts at ESPN couldn't handle it. Instead of giving Boston and the Fever their respect, they went straight into this nonsense about foul discrepancy, bias, and all this garbage. Andrea Carter? She's not even hiding her agenda. Chiney Ogwumike? Same thing. Elle Duncan? Please. The entire panel is like one big clown car over there. This whole routine y'all are running on ESPN is not fooling anybody. We see it. The jealousy, the bitterness, the thinly veiled digs at Caitlin Clark, at Fever fans, and anyone who doesn't fit the little ESPN-approved narrative. This is nasty, nasty work. And it doesn't belong on national television. These are supposed to be professionals. This is supposed to be coverage, not cheerleading, not bias, not disrespect. Just cover the game, give credit where it's due, and move on. But nah, not with this crew. They'd rather throw shade than acknowledge what the Fever just pulled off. And trust me, we're going to play back what Ogwumike and Andrea Carter actually said about Indiana's win, because once you hear it, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about.
He's just saying the foul discrepancy was interesting. Full disclosure, it was a topic of conversation on this desk as well. Your reaction?
Well, it is interesting. And my favorite thing about a series, you can start to see trends, right? And if you were looking at the games earlier in this series, the free throw attempts, the discrepancy was 5, it was 6, it was 4. Those were the first 3 games. This game tonight, it was 23. The free throw attempt discrepancy was 23. Indiana shot 23 more free throws than the Aces. And when you talk about a favorable whistle, that play that we just showed, to me, it looked like Aliyah clamped first. And then Asia responded to that, but the initial foul to me was on Aliyah.
Yeah, the irony is that Aaliyah Boston actually shot more free throws than the entire Aces squad. And mind you, respectfully, Aliyah commits the most fouls in the WNBA and the second most offensive fouls.
However, the foul discrepancy is not the only reason that they lost.
Yeah, don't let this overshadow the fact that Indiana's backcourt was phenomenal. Kelsey Mitchell was special, athletic, bouncy, tough shot making, 25 points, and just unfazed, unbothered. Look at these buckets. They were all in single or double coverage. And don't sleep also on their separator. Odyssey Sims, she was plus 17 and plus minus. 18 points, made big baskets in transition. The backcourt is the reason why they won the game.
Fever get their 4th win of the postseason as an underdog. That's the most by any team.
Okay, so let me get this straight. Now, all of a sudden we want to nitpick free throws? Now, all of a sudden we care about foul discrepancy? Where was this energy when Breanna Stewart was living at the line, putting up 15 free throws in a playoff game? Where was all this talk when A'ja Wilson was cashing in 12, 13 freebies a night? And mind you, she's mostly a jump shooter. Where was all this interesting foul count nonsense then? Oh, right, nowhere. But the second Aaliyah Boston dominates and forces this series back to Vegas, suddenly Andrea Carter wants to downplay it. Suddenly Chiney wants to chime in. Suddenly the whole ESPN crew is on one accord like, well, it was really the refs. Nah, cut it out. That's not coverage, that's disrespect. So now Boston can't just have a great game. Now it's, oh, she only looked that good because the refs handed it to her. That's what we're saying on national TV. Come on, man. Y'all can't hide it anymore. The bias is showing. And let me remind y'all, you've been ignoring bad officiating all season long. When Caitlin Clark was getting mauled game after game, when Cheryl Reeve and Becky Hammond themselves were turning a blind eye, you sat there smiling, talking about, that's the W. That's just how physical it is. You love the narrative then. But now that Boston got the best of A'ja Wilson and the Fever knocked off the Aces in Game 4, suddenly you want to cry about officiating. That's the definition of disingenuous. And the way you opened that whole segment was nasty. Y'all started off with free throw talk. Y'all made that the conversation. Don't sit here and try to spin it back like, oh no, it was really about the backcourt play. No, Elle Duncan literally had to cue y'all to change gears because the producer was probably in her ear like, This is going too far. So Chiney tries to clean it up, but the damage was already done. You made it sound like the only reason Aaliyah Boston went off was because the refs were cheating for her. Like the Fever didn't earn that win. Like Odyssey Sims, Kelsey Mitchell, and the rest of that squad didn't hoop their hearts out. No, you painted it as if the officials gift-wrapped it. That's disrespectful. And you wouldn't be saying any of this if it wasn't Indiana. If it wasn't Aaliyah Boston. If it wasn't the Fever linked to Caitlin Clark and her fan base. That's the only reason y'all are doing this. Period. We see it. We're not dumb. The hate is loud and the agenda is obvious. ESPN can't even pretend to be unbiased anymore. Knock it off, man. Just knock it off. Honestly, this is absolutely ridiculous. It's a complete misunderstanding of the game. They're taking things completely out of context. To me, it feels like 3 people were just handed clips, handed a script, and told to analyze. They clearly didn't watch the game. They have zero clue what actually happened, and they have no idea how to break down basketball at all. And honestly, this kind of stuff does a disservice to the league. The WNBA's product on the court is obviously the most important thing, but the league has a lot of challenges off the court too, and having analysts like this only stunts its growth. They latch onto one single play, blow it up, and make it seem like it defines a game. It's almost laughable, because if Andrea really understood sports, even just a little bit, she'd know the old sports cliche. It's always the second person who gets caught. I'm not even saying Asia was the second in that particular moment, but it happens all the time. This isn't some career-ending or season-defining mistake. It's minor. Instead, they focus on maybe one play against Asia Wilson. No mention of any plays against Aliyah. No talk about the fact that Aaliyah Boston leads the league in fouls. Well, yeah, a lot of that is because she's constantly getting called on questionable whistles. We've all seen the absolutely ridiculous calls against her this season and last. That context? Completely ignored. This is the kind of coverage that makes fans frustrated and the league look bad. It's lazy, it's superficial, and it's why real fans know better than to take these analyses seriously. But to that point, let's break this down real quick. I'm going to play a clip of Asia Wilson talking a moment, but first, let's focus on what actually happened. This was not called. Folks, watch what happened around the foul line, extended. Asia Wilson, Lexi Hull, literally shoves her to the ground. I mean, right there in front of the referee. Unobstructed view. That's a 2-hand push, no question. And yet, nothing. Not a whistle. And this is exactly why I say some of these so-called analysts have zero understanding of the game. They shouldn't be doing this job. They are just fucking idiots. Your man, they are just fucking idiots. That play does not result in free throws for either team. That's the reality of a special whistle. The Las Vegas Aces still keep possession. Asia Wilson committed a foul that goes unrecorded. She's not on the stat sheet for that. That means she can keep playing aggressively without worrying about foul trouble. Meanwhile, if this foul had actually been called later in the quarter, Indiana might have been shooting free throws. These are the subtle things that change games. And most people forget about them because they don't understand the nuance. That, my friend, is a special whistle in action, and it matters more than people realize.
But what made it successful for them to keep going to her tonight?
I don't know. You're going to have to ask Aliyah that question. I honestly, you just do your work. You got to do your work early and make it different. But Aliyah did say I have a special whistle. And she shot 13 today. Yeah. Yeah. She said the last game I had a special whistle, which is cool. So we just got to play better defense, make her look a little difficult, and kind of go from there.
All right, thank you all.
Yep.
But what?
We can look at this, right? Shout out to Allison for pulling these numbers. Look who's leading in free throws. Asia Wilson, 290. Second, Kelsey Plum with 244. That's a pretty big gap. And if we go back, it's the same story. Last year, Asia Wilson, 275. The year before that, 287. Even back in 2020, Asia Wilson. And way back in 2018, I think as a rookie, correct me if I'm wrong, 248. This isn't a one-off. She has always had a special whistle. And yes, If you watch her game, she attacks the basket. But she also takes a ton of fadeaways. By all logic, she shouldn't be getting to the line this much, and yet she does. That's the kind of nuance that gets missed when people just look at stats without understanding the game. So again, this is completely out of context, connecting two separate things that have nothing to do with each other. Correlation is not causation, as we all know. Just because Aaliyah Boston happened to shoot 13 free throws today doesn't mean A'ja Wilson doesn't have a special whistle. And you can literally see it. This is why I said before, just look at the body language, the tone of voice. A'ja Wilson comes across as a spoiled brat who cannot handle anything that doesn't go her way. Honestly, I'm getting so annoyed talking about this. I don't even know if I've said this already, so apologies if I'm repeating myself. But this might have been Aaliyah Boston's best all-around game since Caitlin Clark has been out. The reason she got to the free throw line, she was getting the ball in the post, she was active in the paint, and she was doing everything right. That's context people keep ignoring. Shout out to Dutch for putting this together to make the comparison clear. A'ja, as I mentioned, led the league with 290 free throws. AB, a post player who should be drawing a ton of fouls, only 147. And it's not just the regular season. Look at the postseason. 7 games each. A'ja with 48 free throws. AB with only 23. And in this game, she only shot 13. That means in the other 6 games, she had 10 free throws total. Ladies, y'all got to step up your game, because the way things are going, even ESPN might eventually realize we cannot keep doing this. Ratings are tanking. We need qualified people talking about basketball from a place of knowledge. Now, they want to talk about a backcourt? Come on, man. You guys are exposed. It's clear. You're just Caitlin Clark fever haters, and everyone sees it. Look at it. It's pathetic. I especially expected better from Andrea Carter. But nope, we aren't getting it. ESPN has been reduced to clickbait and rage bait. No one has taken their commentators seriously in over a decade. And let's be real, about 11 of AB's fouls were in the fourth quarter when her team was down. AB plays a bang-bang game in the post, and of course fouls went her way. The Aces couldn't stop her posting up. Many fouls? Aces on their feet. It's ridiculous. See what I'm saying? That's your first mistake. Taking these clowns seriously. People see it. This isn't just me talking. The audience sees it. They see what's going on. Nasty work, ESPN. You're on a major network, and this is disrespectful to both the players and the fans. Get down in the comments. Let me know what you think. And make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share the channel if you want more of this.